Hi, and welcome to part 5 of spinal nerves. The part 4 was the one where we didn't use slides, and now I'm going to show you pretty much the same story but with my slides, which are better diagrams. So in this diagram, you have the spinal nerve. Okay, so this is it here, the spinal nerve, and as it's coming in to the cord here, there's going to be a ventral root. Look, follow along, and this is coming in ventrally, and then a dorsal root that's coming in here dorsally. The other thing is that there's a dorsal enlargement there that we'll talk more about later. So spinal nerve, a root, and a rootlet. So all these little tiny guys here that are attaching onto the cord here are rootlets. So think of it as a tree. These are the rootlets, these are the roots, and they're coming together to form the spinal nerve. So I think that's pretty straightforward. Now, after it leaves as a spinal nerve is where it's going to branch into its branches, right? From root to trunk to branches. And that's called a ramus. So in this view, you have the spinal nerve here. Okay, it's come in and it's done its thing of attaching. It's not visible here. Actually, here it's more visible. And this is posterior, so it's dorsal and ventral. But what we're interested in now is when it exits there, I need to innervate, correct? I need to have those nerves either coming or going to the region of the back, for example. So if I were to follow one of these, and I'm going to show you one that's labeled for you to see, a dorsal ramus coming here. So from that spinal nerve, it's coming out, and it's going to be innervating all this region of the back. Look, the spinous process, so you know this is posterior, right? So it's going to branch and go and be the sensory or motor region for everything that goes posteriorly to the back. Okay, so that's the ramus now. The dorsal ramus is going to supply sensory, motor, and autonomic fibers. That's sympathetic and parasympathetic to all the muscles and the skin of the back. So if you just scratch your back right now, what you are stimulating are those sensory neurons of the dorsal ramus. Okay, makes sense? All right. If we enlarge that, there you go. You see it coming out of the nerve, of the spinal nerve that's right there. And it's coming out, look, over to the muscle. It's coming out all the way here to the skin. Okay, so all this region of your back is innervated by that dorsal one, dorsal ramus. Now you want to see the ventral ramus, which is going to be also a branch from the nerve. But now, where's that going? So if you follow this along and come along, and it's coming all the way to the anterior body. It's coming here around the ribs and coming to the anterior body. Ramus. Ventral ramus is going to supply sensory. It's going to supply motor and autonomic, sympathetic and parasympathetic to the skin and to the muscles, both of the lateral, because remember it's exiting, coming laterally, and then moving to the front, and the anterior body walls and limbs. So that's actually a bigger branch. In that picture again, I think I'm going to change my color, my pen color to black. So if I'm coming with my ventral ramus, it's going to come here. Look at it. It's coming around. Coming laterally, that's lateral. Now it's coming all to ventral and innervating all this ventral area. Okay? Ventral branch. And this is some other branches here that are going to branch out. And that's how that arrangement of all those peripheral nerves is sort of innervating both your back and anterior portion of the body. This is just for you to practice things. I'm going to skip this slide and move on to dermatomes. So this is an important term because you want to know how the surface of your body is actually innervated. You know, if I'm scratching at my shoulder, then what nerve is that? Where's that coming from in the spine? That'd be interesting, right? So you're going to scratch right there, and you're going to scratch your shoulder, and you see that innervation, this has been mapped out, is C4. So it's C4 here that is sending out that innervation and anything that you feel in muscle and skin within this. Do you notice how it's kind of like a block that goes from left to right all the way across? That is all going to be innervated by a nerve that's coming from C4. And it keeps on that way. Look at this. So you scratch your belly button around here, and you know that that is T8. So that's coming from this region here. And so on and so forth. This has all been mapped out. There are some interesting ones, like the heel here. Oh my gosh, let's switch my mouse. So the heel here is coming from sacral vertebra. It sort of makes sense that it's lower body. And so are all the genital area is also sacral. But look at the difference in location, right? And here, everything in between is lumbar. Hence all the back pain that comes down the leg. So I'm just going to read this to you now. Each pair of spinal nerves monitors a specific region of the body's surface, right? An area known as a dermatome. So just sort of scratch yourself on your palm. You'll know that you are around, C7, C8, and that's what's innervating that area. Very interesting. The ventral ramus in the thoracic region is going to travel along the intercostal, along the ribs, So the rami form these intercostal nerves. So if it's intercostal, it's between the ribs. And I think of that as really neat and tidy because it's an easy pathway, right? And the ribs are all parallel. And so those rami from the intercostal nerves are all sort of nicely parallelly arranged in that order. Now in other regions, it's going to form something called a plexus, which is really not neat and tidy. It's just one big tangle of nerves. So let's go to that just to show you. And remember, I kind of mentioned this before. If it's going between a rib, look how neat and tidy, right? If it's going between a rib, it's kind of got a set pathway. Now, if you look here, brachial plexus, it's not that way. It goes like this, and then it branches, and then that one might branch to here, and then that one might join up with another one, which in turn is joining up with another one, and it is this tangle. Okay, so that tangle is called a plexus. A plexus. So defined for you, plexuses are tangles of nerves. This is a much better picture where you see C5, C6, C7, C8, and they emerge separately and join, and then branch, and then maybe join. C5 is going to join with C7, and it joins and breaks apart, and all that bird's nest tangle is a plexus. So we're going to talk a lot more about plexuses, but we're going to do that in the next video. Thanks for watching.